There's something unsettling about trains at night. The windows turn into mirrors, the carriages grow silent, and the rocking motion feels like you're being carried, somewhere you don't belong. For Emily, it was supposed to be a simple ride home, a late shift at work, a quick train out of the city, and she'd be home by midnight. But that night, she noticed something strange. The train was almost empty. Only one other passenger sat at the far end of the carriage. A man in a long coat, head bowed, hands folded neatly in his lap. He hadn't moved since she got on. At first, Emily ignored him. She plugged in her earphones, scrolled through her phone, watched the stations pass by. But then she noticed the train wasn't stopping. The first station passed, then the second. No announcements, no slowing down, just darkness outside the windows and silence inside. Emily stood confused. "Excuse me?" She called to the man at the end of the carriage. He didn't answer, didn't move. She walked closer, footsteps echoing on the floor. "Do you know what's happening? Why isn't the train stopping?" The man slowly lifted his head, and Emily froze. His face was pale, his eyes hollow, like he hadn't slept in decades. And when he spoke, his voice was a dry whisper. "It doesn't stop anymore." Emily's stomach dropped. "What do you mean?" "It has to stop. This is the 11:45 train. It ends at Maplewood." The man shook his head. "No, not tonight." She stumbled back, rushing to the next carriage. But when she opened the door, the carriage beyond was empty too. No conductor, no passengers, just rows of silent seats. She tried another, and another. Every carriage empty, except for him, always sitting at the far end, no matter how many carriages she passed through. Her heart pounded. She yanked at the emergency stop lever. It wouldn't move. She tried the windows. Locked. The train thundered forward faster now, the lights flickering above. She turned back, and there he was. Closer this time, only a few rows away. "Sit down," he rasped. "You'll need to be seated when it happens." Emily's voice shook. "When what happens?" The man tilted his head, smiling faintly. "The last stop." She ran. Carriage after carriage, her breath ragged, her chest tight. But no matter how far she went, he was always there, closer, waiting. Finally, she burst into what should have been the driver's cab. The controls were covered in dust. The chair was empty, and outside the window, there was nothing. No tracks, no lights, just endless black. Her phone buzzed suddenly, screen lighting up. An unknown number. With trembling hands, she answered. A distorted voice hissed, "Don't get off the train." She dropped the phone. The lights flickered again, and when they came back on, the man was standing right in front of her. Up close, she saw his skin was cracked like old porcelain. His eyes were pits of shadow, and his breath was cold against her ear when he whispered, "You weren't supposed to board tonight." Emily screamed, stumbling back. But behind her now wasn't the driver's cab. It was another carriage. She spun around, desperate to find the exit. And that's when she saw the window, not reflecting her face, but hundreds of pale faces pressed against the glass, mouths open in silent screams, eyes wide with terror. The train roared louder, as if feeding on their fear. She collapsed into a seat, clutching her head. "This isn't real," she muttered. "This isn't real." The man sat across from her, calm. "It's real enough. You boarded the wrong train, and now you ride it until the end." Her breath hitched. "The end? Where does it go?" He leaned closer. His voice was barely more than a breath. Nowhere, and forever. The train plunged into total darkness. The sound of the wheels faded. Her phone slipped from her hand, screen cracking on the floor. The last thing Emily heard was the faint announcement overhead. But the voice wasn't human. It was deep, hollow, endless. Final stop. Everyone off. And then silence. The next morning, the 11:45 train was found sitting idle on the tracks outside the city. Completely empty, doors wide open. No sign of Emily, no sign of any conductor. Just a single cracked phone lying on the seat, recording static. And if you listen closely to the recording, beneath the hiss, you can hear a faint whisper. "Don't get off the train.